everybody, it's Nick. I hope you're well, particularly given those of you that I'm sure have heard the latest briefing from the government on our impending lockdown coming up. Aside from how that all makes us feel, which I think we all have our own challenges and battles with how we get through that, I wanted to talk a little bit more about where I am with the menopause right now. So, I'm 2.5 years in. And recently I have returned to full-time work, and one of the observations I've made is that the best way to think of it is that the energy in my tank is far lower than it used to be. And this afternoon I am actually doing this vlog from my bed, because actually that's where I've been all afternoon today. So I did take my son to his football this morning, but I came home and actually I knew I was going into one of my menopausal dips, because I know this might resonate with others. It's not just exhaustion. I mean, it is a really, really heavy exhaustion, but I'm aching all over. I'm aching all over, and it's quite painful, and that usually signifies a drop in my estrogen, which also explains that I was actually talking to a friend this morning at football saying, I can't even bother to walk the dogs. I can't bother to go for a run. I can't bother to go for a swim. Everything seems such a massive effort. There's two things at play. When I go into menopausal dip, I've just noticed I've got some crumbs from having a cheeky biscuit on my jumper. That's not very nice, is it? Bring a smile to our face. But there's two things at play. One is the estrogen is the fibre for the neurons that gives that motivation and that feeling of wanting to do something and of being alive and of getting out there, and that's just gone. Also, I know when the estrogen drops, that's when I get particularly my shoulders and my lower back. I get quite a lot of pain there, and then the third dimension is the exhaustion that comes into play. And, I have definitely observed that being back at work full time means that I am not able to keep the same pace up outside of work, because, my energy, both my intellectual and my mental and my physical energy is just used far quicker, and I just don't have as much of it. And that is just a fact. Now, to be fair, I suspect that it's also coincided because for those of us that know when we're going through the menopause, we don't have our normal hormonal cycle, i.e. we don't know, I don't have periods anymore, so I don't know where I am in the cycle. And the only way you know is by listening to your body. And that's when because you're still going through a cycle. Your hormones are still moving in the background. They're still going up and down. So I am actually about to get up, having had a rest, and kick off my plan B, as me and my consultant and I call it, which is to actually up my estrogen. So rather than my daily amount of estrogen, I will now up it. I have two methods where I can do that. This is something you need to talk to your GP and or menopause consultant about. But what suits me is I can use the estrogen gel, although I have to be careful with that. I don't know about anybody else, but that gives me really, really bad migraines. But actually, I also know that's a really good indication, because it's very, very difficult to work out when you're at your right level of estrogen. And I know that if I'm getting migraines and really bad headaches, my estrogen is actually going too high rather than too low. So again, it's all back to listening to your body. My preference is I generally wear extra estrogen patches. Now, you don't get the immediate hit, i.e. that will take a couple of days to kick in, but it will kick in. But equally, I don't get such bad side effects with it. So, you've got to weigh it up. And I think the point of this is to say, that I have definitely observed that, a few lessons for me going back to work, being very much in the throes of a very intense menopause. There's no point trying to wrap it up. And, I don't feel sorry for myself about it. I feel passionate about spreading the word and helping and creating a better understanding and support network, because I just know just how life-changing and how shit this has made me feel at times. And I'm very blessed in that I have, an incredible support network. I have a fucking amazing GP. I have an amazing menopause consultant. I do go private. I have a very, very supportive family. So, I have everything there. So I'm in a position where I can get the support I need. And therefore, I do feel an obligation to speak out, to say, actually, as a society as a whole, we need to make this far better, because there are millions of women out there that are suffering in silence. My observation on going back to work is that you do have to, you, in a way, you've kind of got to suck it up. That's where I am on it, which is, I think at other parts in my cycle, I will be far more able just to do my working week and actually still carry on with my weekend activities as I would do normally. But at this part in my cycle, when my estrogen's dropping low, that's just not happening. So it's just about prioritizing, right? It's about prioritizing your time. And outside of that time, when you're not working or doing the things that you have to do, I think you have to rest if that's what your body needs. And I think that's okay. And I think we sort of get past this beating ourselves up, and I know there's a grief associated with not being able to do all the stuff that we want to be able to do and that we used to be able to do. But to a certain extent, we just have to, this is what practicing self-care is about. It's about listening to our bodies. And I think there's something so strong in the way that if you can accept where you are. So today, I just accepted. And my friend said to me this morning, Nick, just go home and rest this afternoon. And I think we do need to be kinder to ourselves. And the fact of the matter is, even if I'd gone for a swim, so swimming is my thing for those people that don't know, even if I'd gone for a swim, I wouldn't have enjoyed it, and it would have made me feel worse, actually, because a menopausal dip, it's not the same as not having got out and you just need some fresh air and you just need to kind of give yourself a bit of a kickstart. It's something very different. It's a very physical exhaustion that's actually caused by a biological process in your body. And therefore, I do think it's important to listen to your body. I do think it's important to be kind to yourself. I do think it's important to prioritise what needs to be done, what has to be done, and to take your rest when you can do. And the other thing I've found is to really, really watch where your natural cycle of energy is. So I know I'm a morning lark. I can wake up in the morning and I'm like, ding. So, I really try and prioritise my day to get the immediate and the really important things done as early as possible in the day, because I know that later in the day, it's going to be harder for me, because I would naturally get tired then anyway. And that is amplified, because that's what the menopause does. It amplifies stuff for you. I'm going to stop, but I just wanted to share some thoughts on being back at work and the menopause, and the continuing journey with it, and the continuance of maybe accepting where we are at a point in time and having to listen to our bodies, and go with that, and hopefully speaking out like this about my personal experience, somebody somewhere will hear, will listen, and it will change the way that we support women, and it will change our understanding of the menopause, and ultimately it will change the treatment we are able to offer women going through this menopause, to make it an easier process, whereby we don't get to feel so shit for such a large portion of times. Wishing you all much love. Please do stay safe. I know it's it's a challenging time ahead of us, but you know what? We can do this. We can absolutely do this. One step at a time, one day at a time. Take care.